A warm wind sweeps through Ouagadougou's Place de la Révolution as the sun dips below the horizon. The air is alive with chanting, music, and the restless energy of a crowd that believes history is being written before their very eyes. In the center of this sea of voices stands Captain Ibrahim Traoré, the young leader of Burkina Faso. His uniform glints in the fading light, his expression calm but determined. But while all eyes are fixed on him, three silent figures stand just behind, almost invisible to the crowd. They do not cheer, they do not wave, and they do not smile. They are his shield, his shadow, his final line of defense. Few people know their names. Fewer still know their stories. Yet without them, the revolution itself might not survive. Burkina Faso has long lived under the shadow of coups, betrayals, and sudden violence. In 2015, after a failed coup attempt, the government dissolved the once powerful Presidential Security Regiment, an elite guard that had grown arrogant, corrupt, and untouchable. For years, bodyguards were feared more than respected. So when Traoré seized power through a coup in 2022, he knew trust was the most fragile currency. Power in Burkina Faso often changes at gunpoint. Enemies could be hidden anywhere, in the army, in the government, even among his closest allies. From his first day, he understood one truth: without loyal men by his side, he would not survive a month. That is why he built his own team. Not strangers. Not mercenaries. But brothers. Soldiers he had fought with. Men who had bled beside him. Men he believed would never betray him. The first is a man the public only knows as the masked man. To most people, he is a mystery. His face is always covered, his eyes sharp, his movements precise. Some say he hides his face because terrorists have placed a bounty on his head. Others believe he simply prefers the shadows. But Traoré knows the truth. He chose this man personally because years earlier, in the heat of battle against militants in the north, this soldier risked his life to rescue a wounded comrade when everyone else thought it was hopeless. That act of courage sealed his fate. From that day on, he was not just another soldier, he was a brother. When Traoré became president, he brought him into the shadows of power as his closest guardian. Not long after, the masked man was offered millions to betray the president. The message reached him through back channels: strike during prayer, when Traoré would be most vulnerable. He did not even consider it. Instead, he set a trap with the help of his commander, exposing and arresting the plotters. His only request afterward was silence. "Don't make me a hero. Let me stay in the shadows," he said. And so he remains, always near, always watching, a phantom figure whose true strength lies not in his hidden face, but in his unwavering loyalty. The second guardian is known by the name Captain. His real identity is known only to a few, but the nickname has followed him for years. He is bold, fearless, and unshakable in his loyalty. Born in the dry north where jihadist attacks were part of daily life, Captain grew up surrounded by danger. When armed bandits raided his village, he stood in front of his family's cattle with nothing but a stick, refusing to run. That defiance became his nature. As a soldier, he once met Traoré during a desperate battle near Djibo. Surrounded and out of ammunition, Captain refused to retreat. He grabbed a machete and charged with such fury that militants scattered in shock. Traoré witnessed it himself, and from that moment their bond was sealed. Captain has survived countless ambushes, roadside bombs, and sniper fire. Many believe he is untouchable, protected by the leather amulets his mother gave him. Once, during an ambush, a bullet grazed his face. Instead of retreating, he chased the attacker with his bare fists. When asked why, he only smiled and said, "He's lucky I didn't bring the machete." Yet behind the humor lies a man scarred by loss. He still carries the photo of a fallen friend killed by an IED. At night, he whispers promises to the dead, "We will not let this revolution end in betrayal. Not again." His loyalty has been tested too. When an acquaintance once offered him riches in exchange for betraying Traoré, Gaddafi slammed his cup down and swore, "Speak of treason again, and we are finished." The next day, he reported the approach himself. For him, there are only two sides, loyalty or betrayal. Nothing in between. The third figure in this circle of guardians is Commander Cabri, known among the inner circle simply as Number 3. If the masked man is the shield and Gaddafi the sword, then Cabri is the mind. A veteran soldier since the late 1990s, he once served in the infamous Presidential Security Regiment, the same unit that became hated for its corruption before being dissolved. He saw its arrogance firsthand and swore never to let such betrayal destroy the nation again. For him, guarding the president is not about protecting one man, but about protecting hope itself. When Traoré seized power in 2022, he chose Cabri because of his experience and his independence. Cabri accepted only on one condition, loyalty to principle, not just to power. Since then, Cabri has foiled coup attempts, dismantled plots before they could ignite, and orchestrated elaborate security operations. Decoy convoys, hidden snipers, undercover agents, every detail is part of his chessboard. Once, mercenaries followed a fake convoy while Traoré traveled safely elsewhere. When the news reached Cabri, he only said, "They were chasing shadows while the real history was being written." Yet even Cabri has felt the sting of betrayal. In 2025, during an attempted coup, one of the conspirators turned out to be an old friend, a man he once trusted with his life. The discovery cut deep, but Cabri remained firm. His duty, he reminded himself, was not to friendship but to the future of his country. Together, these three men form an unshakable wall around their leader. They are not famous. They will not appear in history books. But without them, history itself might take a darker turn. They are more than bodyguards, they are guardians of a revolution. Each carries his own story, his own scars, his own reasons, but together they share one unbreakable bond: protect the man who carries the hopes of millions. Not for glory. Not for wealth. Not even for recognition. But because they believe in him, and in the dream of a free, sovereign Burkina Faso. Every morning, when Traoré steps into the public eye, the crowd sees only the captain, the young president who speaks of unity, freedom, and dignity for Africa. But behind him, unseen yet always present, are the shadows. The masked man scanning every face, Gaddafi ready to fight with bullet or blade, and Cabri watching like a strategist, already 3 moves ahead. They are the invisible brothers who stand between hope and destruction. And as long as they remain by his side, silent, watchful, and loyal, the revolution still has a fighting chance. They are the faceless guardians, the men who walk in the shadows so their leader can stand in the light. This is the untold story behind Captain Ibrahim Traoré, and the extraordinary bodyguards who have sworn to protect him until the very end.